Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. And when she'd seen what she had done, she gave her father 41.
Hey, it's me again. Did all 5 of you miss me? No? Yes? Maybe? Well, I missed you, so we're going to finish up on Back That Axe Up, the Lizzie Borden case today. And if you have theories, if you think she's innocent, if you think she's guilty, leave comments. I really want to know other people's opinions. Let's start this. We left off with Lizzie screaming, "Maggie, come quick, Father's been killed!" And Maggie coming downstairs to find a dead Mr. Borden and upstairs to find a dead Mrs. Borden. So here we go. Oh, real quick before I forget, I just want to make two things clear that I left out of the other video. Abby has been Lizzie and Emma's stepmother for about 30 years, so it's been a while. It's been 30 years of rejection on all ends. And number 2, Emma was actually in her early 40s and not in her late 30s. So she was almost a decade older than Lizzie, and she played a maternal figure in Lizzie's life. That's all. So not only has Lizzie yelled for Maggie to come quick, Lizzie has run outside and started yelling for the neighbors to come quick. And the neighbors do come a-running. They do come inside. They do want to see what's going on. They want to see what happened. They're nosy, like me, like some of you. I'm not too proud to admit it. I'm nosy. But they wanted to see what the heck was going on. So this crime scene is already it's jacked. All these people going in and out of this house, neighbors, friends, whatever. This crime scene is just already telling you right now, it's garbage. It is garbage. This kind of blatant crime scene contamination would never happen on Lieutenant Joe Kinda's watch. Let me just say that. Joe Kinda would have had this solved. Joe Kinda would have known what to do. Y'all are fools. So the police come, and there's an Officer Fleet who comes to the scene, and he starts kind of looking around, and other cops are looking around, and they're really thrown off by how poised Lizzie seems. She does not seem to be in a state of panic at all. She's just standing there telling them that somebody came in and killed her stepmother and somebody killed her father. Like, she is calm. It's a little suspicious, but what's even more suspicious is that you would think that a house that just had axe murderers, you would think it would be covered in blood, right? Axe murdering ain't easy. Axe murdering ain't easy. Axe murdering ain't easy. No, it's not easy. And it would have left a lot of blood, given that these heads were basically beaten in a lot of wax, which means it's a crime of passion. I hate that term anyway, which means it was something personal. Someone had something personal against Abby and Andrew Borden. Who could it be? I don't know. So usually when there is an axe murder, or a murder that requires any kind of weapon, where you have to lift that weapon over your head, bring it back down, and then bring it back up, creates a blood spatter pattern. There was no blood spatter really anywhere. The only place that there was blood were the bodies and the area around them. It was like the rest of the house was immaculately clean. No bloody footsteps through the halls, no drop of blood here. I mean, it was bizarre. And the cops did find a pail of bloody wet rags in the laundry room. And they asked Lizzie about it, and that we all do if we want to get out of PE. And if you didn't do this to get out of PE, then you're a liar. She says, hey, I'm on my period. Those are my period rags. And they do find a little bit of blood on her underskirt. And she also accounts this to her period. And there's no blood testing back then. None. This case would have been solved in like less than a week if it was retried today. With this technology, it would have been solved. But you have to give it to little Miss Lizzie over. You want to talk about using what God gave you? She brought up the dreaded topic that will usually send a man running, that she was on her period. And the family doctor examined her and said that this was true. So the cops were like, we don't want to know anything about what goes on down there. Yeah, those bloody pale rags over there, yeah, probably just menstruation blood. Let's let the lady menstruate in peace. Lizzie said that she conversed with her father for a little bit, and that he was looking at some papers in the sitting room, and that she offered to help him lay down on the couch because he looked tired. So after she got him situated on the couch, she went out to the barn for half an hour to take care of, I guess, whatever was in the barn. Maybe she got a new set of pigeons. I don't know. That was mean. Mean. When she comes back to the house and goes inside, that is when she says she finds her father's bloody body, still blood coming from the wounds, warm, and she yells for Maggie. And Maggie comes down there. Now, Officer Fleet asked her if she committed these crimes. Like, don't ask stupid questions. I mean, I know it's your job, but how many times out of 10 does somebody actually answer, yes, sir? I hacked that bitch up. So she's asked if anybody would want to hurt her father. And she answers yes, that, Andrew Borden had a lot of enemies. With a lot of money and a lot of businesses comes a lot of enemies. And that a lot of people had been in shady business deals with him. And they had threatened him. And one had been at the house a few weeks ago and had threatened them. And she also lets them know about her uncle, John Morse, who for some time is looked at, but not long enough in my opinion. So Officer Fleet is like, okay, why is this girl so calm and put together and poised and doesn't seem to realize that there's been an axe murderer in her house? And he asked her if she knew who did it. She gave the name she had before. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's petty to the very end. He asked if anyone has anything against her mother. What do you think's going to happen? Lizzie snaps out of that poised state of mind, and she says, and I quote, "She is not my mother, sir. She is my stepmother. My mother died when I was a child." End quote. Now, I don't know if she said it that dramatically, but it felt like a really dramatic thing, because she's still like, bitch may be dead, but I still don't like her. Wow, if Lizzie did not do this and was innocent of this, I have to give her all the petty power in the world. So Officer Fleet is like, it wasn't that serious of a question. You could have just said yes or no, but okay then. Thank you. So they start searching the house some more. And they've already found the pail of rags. They're not counting that as evidence because Lizzie's Aunt Flo is visiting, and it's been proven by the doctor that Aunt Flo is visiting. So the cops knock on Lizzie's door because apparently they're trying to keep her in there now calm, and they're drugging her up on a shit ton of morphine, but they want to check Lizzie's room. I mean, think about it. They want to check Lizzie's room, and they knock on the door, and the doctor says, Lizzie's not really feeling well right now. No, you can't search her room. And the cops were like, it wasn't really a question. We're gonna search it. Okay, here's the deal. Why are you saying no when you know that's gonna look suspicious? And if you're innocent, why would you be saying no? And if you're guilty, look, what I'm trying to get at is that if you give me a house filled with white doors, and you tell me this entire house is mine, except for this one door that's red, and then I need to stay out of that door, what do you think's gonna happen? You bet your ass I want to see behind the red door. You can bet your ass. So they search Lizzie's room and they don't find anything. Now, when they go up to the attic, they find a hatchet head, an axe head, but it does not have a handle. The handle is gone. The handle could have been broken off. There's no proof that this axe is the axe that was used in the murders. There's no blood on the axe, and there's a layer of dust and ash on the axe. But the cops think that this could still be the murder weapon or something like it. Because, I mean, they had more than one axe in the house, I'm sure. But this is the murder weapon they've got, and honestly, they don't have anything on that. And they're already not able to do DNA and blood testing. We're not there yet. And these idiots are just trying hard to learn how to fingerprint. So the house doesn't even get fingerprinted because the police department doesn't even know how to do that. No forensics available. No forensics available. They cannot prove that this was the axe head. They cannot prove that it was blood. They can't prove if it was laying there covered in ash or if someone had covered it in ash to attempt to make it look like it had been undisturbed. So honestly, they don't have anything on Lizzie. Well, Lizzie must be innocent, or it must be her lucky day, because they can't find anything in her room either. They come back a few days later to look around. They look at all of her dresses. They go through her clothes. Nothing has blood on it. And all the neighbors say that when they came running, Lizzie was impeccably dressed. And from the time she screamed for them to come there, and from the time it took to them to get there, she would not have had time to change clothes. And the cops did not find any bloody clothes except the menstruation rags. It's just the evidence. I'm sorry. So days go by and this town is on high alert. Think about it. 2 very wealthy people have been murdered in their own home, and the murderer might be among them. Perfect murder mystery. I bet they didn't enjoy it at the time, though. I bet, like, their ghosts are sitting here like, look at those assholes laughing at this story now. When we had to live it, we didn't think it was that freaking cool. Touche. So they really have no other suspects. And so they arrest Lizzie Borden on charges of murdering her father and her stepmother with no real evidence. So let me just say that sometimes the pressure to find a killer can cause a lot of, let me just say that sometimes the pressure to find a killer can cause a lot of finger pointing. It's this person, it's that person, she's the most obvious suspect. We are all guilty of it. This crime is like the O.J. Simpson case. It's like the Casey Anthony case. You either have strong feelings about it or you don't. So Lizzie was arrested on August 11th and thrown in the Hoop Scout jail. This proper, upper-class, white woman, yes, all of that factored into Lizzie Borden's trial. It factored into the defense that her team was trying to build, is that this was a woman of high societal standing. Now, her trial does not start till June, so she's in the jail for a couple months, and she's still being drugged up. They keep talking about her having different testimonies, but she's constantly drugged up on morphine. And she's so drugged up on morphine that, in fact, her defense decides not to even let her testify because she is so unreliable at this point. Now, again, the prosecution has nothing. They have no forensic evidence at all to tie Lizzie to these crimes. But maybe they do. Maggie tells the detectives and the prosecution that she saw Lizzie tearing apart and burning a dress in the stove just a few days after the murders. Bombshell. Maggie has snitched, supposedly. Oh, can you imagine? Imagine the drama. I would have loved to have been in there and seen them, like, making eye contact across the room. I bet it was very dramatic. Now, the defense finds a way to, I don't want to say bury, but I'll say bury. I'll make the pun. To bury the whole burning of the dress incident. The defense comes in with Emma. Emma, whose reputation was golden. Emma, who had an alibi of being at a friend's house the night before. Emma, who had a maternal love for her sister. Emma is the one who takes the blame for the dress being burned. She says that Lizzie had spilled paint on it and that she just told Lizzie to burn it, which a lot of people thought was strange because back then you didn't just burn a dress. They cost a lot of money, but also Abby and Emma don't seem like the type who worry about wasting a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? That is basically all it took to pretty much topple the prosecution's case, which is wild to me that you can just take the word of somebody at this point. They did have something strange on Lizzie, but they were not allowed to use it in court. A few days before her father and stepmother's murders, she had been looking to buy, I think I'm saying it right, prussic acid, and the pharmacist was trying to tell her, you don't need this. And she was like, no, I do, I need this. I have a sealskin coat, and I need the prussic acid to clean the coat. He still says, no, I'm not giving you the prussic acid. So Lizzie does not get the prussic acid, but this is not allowed to be used in court because they find it to be unrelated. But Lizzie, you are supposed to be loving all these animals, Lizzie, and you walking around with a whole goddamn seal on your back. PETA would throw rocks at you as soon as you came out of that courtroom. Lizzie didn't have much to say during her trial. She let her defense team speak for her. She maintained her innocence, and honestly, they had nothing on her. So Lizzie Borden was acquitted of murdering her father and stepmother. Now, the whole town erupted in cheers as she was acquitted. The problem is, the whole town that wanted her to be acquitted is the same town that ostracized her after she's finally released back into society. I swear to God, I'm starting to think I'm a lizard person. Oh, I did want to throw this in there, though. This is wild. They brought in the skulls, the real skulls of Andrew and Abby Borden to show the jury all the damage that had been done to their heads. They had dug up those poor people and brought their skulls to the courtroom. Jesus! All for this girl to be found not guilty. And also, Lizzie did faint when she saw her parents' skulls. I mean, you can fake a faint. I don't know. I don't know what the truth is, fake or real. I'm just stating the facts. Who knows? So, after Lizzie is acquitted, she buys a new mansion in an area called The Hill, which is for the very affluent people. And she had always wanted to live there. They had indoor plumbing. They had electricity. And now with her father's inheritance, she could afford to live there. So she and Emma bought a house there, and they lived there for a very long time. Lizzie didn't feel the need to leave her hometown. She decided to stay in Fall River. Now, the same people who had clapped for her and cheered when she'd been found not guilty moved away from her on the pews at the church that she used to teach Sunday school in. Effectively, she has become ostracized from the community and isolated, but still does not want to leave Fall River. This is still home. So she still chooses to stay at Maplecroft. She's got she had a lot of animals, a lot of dogs, a lot of cats, and Emma lived with her. And little children would go and sing that nursery rhyme where she could hear it. And she was very, just as much as they isolated her, it was almost as if she was content to be isolated as well. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Maybe she was just determined not to be ran from her home because somebody thought she might have done something that maybe she didn't. So Lizzie and Emma lived there a very long time. Then Emma and Lizzie have a falling out. I don't know what it's about. No one knows what it's about. I guess Lizzie and Emma know. But whatever the falling out was about was bad enough to make Emma leave. For good. For good this time. The girls did not see each other again at all before they died. Lizzie was trying to keep her head down, keep her slate clean. She did get busted again for shoplifting. But I think we're way past caring about shoplifting at this point. So whatever happened between her and Emma, it was sad. It was tragic. They never saw each other again. And, Lizzie died at the age of 66 in 1927 from pneumonia. And just 9 days later, Emma died in a nursing home. Now, Lizzie left what was left to her of her father's inheritance to a few close family members and some friends. Then she donated a large chunk of it to the local animal society there and paid for her father's gravestone to be taken care of forever. I mean, if she didn't do it, that's heartbreaking. That's so sad that people think she did, and she was paying for her father's marker to always be taken care of. But I don't know. People do crazy things. Maybe it's guilt. I don't know for real. So now let's talk about a few of the alternate theories. Andrew Borden was not a very liked person. He had some shady business deals with some shady people. And maybe one of them just caught up to him. What about Uncle John? What about Uncle John? Did something happen between him and Andrew that made him feel like he had to kill Andrew and Abby. He stayed there a while. While he stayed there, they were sick. And he suspiciously... Okay, if you tell me you got to go buy a pair of oxen, and you come back with those oxen, I'm going to believe you. There's the proof in front of my face. I don't need to see your receipt for those oxen. He was suspiciously giving too much alibi, if that makes sense. So there's that. Here's a theory that I think might have some juice to it. There's a theory that Lizzie and Maggie had a sexual relationship going on. And now you know that was a big no. That was a no back then. So remember, it was supposed to be Lizzie's job to be cleaning the guest bedroom, but Abby was up there instead. Did Abby walk in on Lizzie and Maggie, and they had to fix this so that Lizzie wouldn't be disinherited? It's quite possible, because on her deathbed, Maggie, whose real name is Bridget, quoted that she lied on the stand to protect Lizzie. All right, hold on, because we're almost at the end, okay? There's also a theory that Andrew had an illegitimate son, and that this illegitimate son wanted his share. He came and he found Andrew, and he wanted his share of what was his by birthright. Now, the next one is Emma. No, not Emma. Not our dear, sweet Emma. No, Emma. What if Emma really wasn't staying with a friend that night? Even if she was, which they did prove she was, it turned out she could have gotten to her house, committed the murders, and then got back to the friend's house in enough time to pretend she wasn't there. So that's that. That's our tale of Lizzie Borden. I'm not sure what to believe, honestly. I'm really not. If it's not Lizzie, then my thought would be Uncle John, or the theory that Abby walked in on Maggie and Lizzie in the guest bedroom. But we'll never know. That's what makes it a mystery. We just know that she was acquitted, and I know that I was like 20 when I found that out. I thought Lifetime had been lying to me, because there was a Christina Ricci movie about Lizzie Borden. Christina Ricci played Lizzie, and she did the best job. And I was like, she's going to be found guilty. We all know what she did it. Then I found out she was acquitted, and I was like, oh. And then I was like, oh, it was true. So, go get yourself some books. Read up on Lizzie Borden. There's even fictional ones about the incredible ton of lore that you can read to come up with your own hypothesis of what happened to the Bordens. There's some great stuff out there. Maybe we'll just never truly know, and we will just have to accept the acquittal. I don't know. I don't know if she did it. I don't think I could have found her guilty on just the evidence or lack thereof that she had. So, still surprised, though. It's like the Mandela effect. Oh, God. Anyways, next video is about the Dyatlov Pass. Stick around, because it's good.